Action. Okay. All right. I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Uh, and this is going to be recorded. This meeting is going to be recorded and recorded in the archives. And if you ever want to go back and see what happened in a meeting before, just go to the archives and they're all saved by the date. So this one will be saved by January 2015 or 2025, 26, whatever year it is. So, and that's the way you can go back, and we're going to start recording them every month that we have the sales meeting. So that's the way it's going to work. So once again, welcome, and I've got the agenda in front of you. So we're going to be covering a little bit about the industry and market update, kind of what's going on in the country and in the mortgage market and all that. And then I'm going to give you a tour, a visual tour of the Madison office, of the new office, and show you some things in the office that you need to know about. And then we're going to be talking about Rhonda's going to give us an update on the Huntsville office, and uh, and then we're going to be talking about some agent recruitment things that are available, continuing education. Uh, Administratively, we're going to be going through the required paper list, paperwork, and when we require it, because once upon a time, we had an agent bring in the listing, the contract, and the closing, complete with earnest money, all at one time. Of course, we had a discussion about how that was not supposed to happen that way. And then we'll talk about what resources that Xeris and myself have here that we can help you with your listings and your sales and those kinds of things. And then we'll have an open discussion about anything you want to discuss. And I encourage you to any questions that you have, concerns, anything like that. This is the time to do that. And then Rhonda's going to give us who the salesperson of the month is. So that's our agenda. So let's start into it. Okay, the market update. As you probably know, that we're going to be in a seller's market before we know it. It's going to creep up on us. But for example, if you list a property in the morning for a fair price, look forward to having about two or three offers complete with escalation clauses by that afternoon or the next day. So it's the time to be a listing agent. So go out and talk to your family, your friends, whoever, and inform them that they're going to be selling. Don't do it now, but wait a little bit because the market is going to shift in their favor very shortly. The reason being is anytime that you have a shortage of housing uh, and an abundance of buyers, that's the what's called the forces of the marketplace, uh, supply and demand. So we're going to be with a short supply of listings or houses for sale and a large market for people that are going to be buying that into that pool of housing shortages that we're going to have. Okay, net loop. That's if you want to sell or list, primarily list a commercial property, something like, for example, a little corner grocery store or a supermarket, not a supermarket, but a building that's a commercial building, for example, a fourplex rental property or those kinds of things, then let me know and I'll help you navigate NetLoop because we are a member of NetLoop. And that's like the MLS for commercial real estate. And if you run across something like that, let me know, and I'll help you navigate through the net loop. And if you're not a member, I'll show you how to become a member. And then also another thing that we have available to you is we're a member of the Builders Association, the Huntsville Madison County Builders Association. In that, what that means is you can join that association. It's going to cost you $25 and you can join the Huntsville Madison County Builders Association, and there's all kind of freebies in there. There's you can do things like health insurance. You've got a low cost health insurance in there because it's kind of like a nationwide consortium of people that have a contract through this insurance company. And then there's all kind of perks like, they have drawings for prizes, things of that nature. So, and also one of the things is whenever a builder has a subdivision and they're trying to uh, promote that subdivision, sometimes the person that's in charge of that subdivision, in other words, the on-site agent, will get sick or goes on vacation or something of that nature. And they're always looking for what's called sitters. And what the way that works is you're going to be going out and sitting that subdivision and actually representing the company that was the builder for that subdivision. Now, you won't make a lot of money doing that, but what you are, you're in an environment of buyers, home buyers. So if they say something to the effect, once you've gone through your presentation for the subdivision, if they say something to the effect, well, that's really not the subdivision for me, then you can say, I'm an independent real estate agent, and I can show you any property in North Alabama, either new or used. So, so you're right in front of some buyers that are looking to spend money somewhere on a house. So if you can endear them to you, then you're going to be on your way. So that's the Builders Association. Now, what I kind of require is that you take the Introduction to New Construction CE class, whether you need it or not. Just consider that a training, and that'll get you to where you can talk to the builder that might be looking for a sitter in a way that will impress him. Like, for example, you can, and I do this several times, or have done it several times, but ask a builder what a BQSS is. He's going to kind of look at you and say, I have no earthly idea. And you can say very confidently, oh, that's the builder's quality standard section. And he's going to say, well, what is that? You can say, well, that's where your warranty is. Then that'll get his attention. That'll show that you know your stuff. So anyway, you'll learn things like that when you take the introduction to new construction CE. Okay. So any questions on those two? In other words, the commercial aspect of what you can do with your license and what you can do with new construction. Anybody have any questions on any of that? All righty, here we go. We're going to the next thing. Now I'm going to give you, we moved to a new office. This is the picture of the front of the office. It's right off of Sullivan Street. So when you get off of, like if you're on 565 and you get off north going on Wall Triana, that turns into Sullivan the minute you hit the uh, Madison City uh, city limits. So when it turns into Sullivan, if you look to your left as you're going north, you'll see the Redstone Federal Credit Union. Excuse me. You'll also see a little beverage store, and it's going to happen before you hit the first light. When you hit that first light, you'll take a left, and you'll see the West Dublin Office Center. This is what it looks like right here. Now, here's the front door right here. Now, if you'll look right down in the corner, you'll see a lock box. There's two keys in that lock box. There's one to open this door if you're coming in on the weekend or after hours, anything like that. If it's locked, there's a key in there that you can open that door. All right. Then once you're inside, we're going to make sure that you stay healthy. So here's a workout for you. These are some steep steps, and they go up to the office. Our office is up here, and I encourage you to hold on to the handrails as you go up. Now, this is not an escalator, no matter what it looks like. This will keep you healthy. You go up and down that 2 or 3 times a day, and you'll get a good workout. I promise you.
I'll kill
So
you.
you go up these stairs. This is immediately when you open the door, the outside door. Okay, and when you get it to the top, to your right is Suite G. We'll have the graphics on the door shortly. We've got that order. So when you walk in the office, here's the first thing that you see. Now, this is all custom property management. So don't go in and try to use that copy machine or that printer or anything like that because it's not connected to us. And so you don't want to use that. Custom Property Management has the office directly to your right when you walk in. This is the new welcome area right here. And this is the person that's sitting, that works for Custom Property there. They're going to be welcoming people as they come in. Over here, this is Custom Properties main office over here. This is where Damon Cummings sits. Now, the Custom Property Management is owned by Damon Cummings, but I'm the qualifying broker for it. So just be aware that anything other than, and we're going to get back to these two offices back here, anything other than those two offices and this common area right here where the refrigerator is, uh, uh, everything else is Custom Property Management's equipment, desks, everything. So don't go rifling through their stuff. So now we're going to go back to, this is the office. This one right here. This is what I call the annex. This is Walt's annex right here. This is my office right here, and it's labeled. There's a little sign by the door that says Walt's office and Walt's annex. Okay, those are the only two offices that we have. So I'm going to walk you through those two offices and show you what's available in there. Okay, this is the agent. This is the annex. Now this has a place where I don't have them all in one place yet, but this is where the agent files are going to be. Your little inboxes, where if you get any mail or I have anything to put in your box, like your cards being printed or anything like that, this is where they'll be right here. There's a small table over here that has where you can sit down and talk with clients about putting in an offer or listing a house or anything like that. And then this is the computer. And by the way, I bought new computers. I couldn't get them upgraded to my satisfaction, so I just went to the computer store and
Let
bought
me see if I
new
can forward
new
you
computers.
the.
So that's what you're looking at right here. And all of the login information is right there at the base of that uh, display right there. Okay. Uh, what else? Okay, these are files over here that I just keep because I've run out of file space in my office. Uh, Up here, there's a 3-hole punch that you're welcome to use. This is a thick uh, stapler right there. In other words, if you have something thicker than maybe 10 or 15 pages, that's the stapler that you want to use right there. There's also a place where you can uh, cut paper up there. In other words, there's a place that has
Figure out the minimize make
like
the
a guillotine that comes down and will cut it
without
in a
messing
straight
it up.
line, and you can line it up any way that you want. So those are the resources that are available to you in the agent office. All right, this is mine, and you can probably tell that I'm not quite organized yet. I've got a whole stacks of paper everywhere.
Where's that minimizes it
I'm
right
trying to convert
over?
over to one place where everybody's agent is going to be, which is going to be in the other room. Now, this printer, this is the only printer that we have right now. This printer is when you're on the computer and you hit print, it's going to be going to this computer right here. So I know I don't ever lock my door so that you can to prevent you from using the printer there. And I'll show you when you're in the office and I'm there. I can show you how to print on it, how to copy on it, how to scan on it, and all the features that are available on that printer. These are the cards of all the agents that we have. Okay, back here. This is on the wall back there. There's some file cabinets back in here. Now you can't see it, but right here, looking at this little area back in here, there's a door that goes in back here, and that's where I'm keeping the signs. All the signs, you go in that door, and immediately to your right, you're going to see like for sale signs, you're going to see open house signs, you're going to see all kind of riders that you can put on there, like zero down or, all those kind of things that are available to you. The stakes are a little bit further back. They're in the, just like they were in the old office, in a black garbage can type thing. But be careful when you go back there. There's, I should have taken a picture of it, but if you go back much further than about right in here, you're going to start running into some rafters that, if you're not careful, you're going to bang your head on. I've got some danger uh, type things on those rafters that you can hit your head on, but be careful when you're back in there if you're going back to get sign stakes or anything like that. Okay, now this is like I said, this is my office right here. Uh, I can't think of anything else that's in there that might be of interest. So this office and this office are the only two offices that Xeris has. So anything else that you see in there, except for the common area where the refrigerator is, anything else is custom property management. So be careful and don't try to use their printer or their scanner or their uh, copy machine or anything like that. So if you have any questions, give me a call. Okay. Any questions on our new offices? There's your workout for the day. You come in the office, I promise you, you'll be huffing and puffing by the time you get to the top stair up there. Any questions? Okay. Agent recruitment. This is something that, we agents come and go, depending on a lot of different variables that they consider. But if you have somebody that's interested in maybe taking a look at what Xeris has to offer, invite them to a Zoom meeting. There was a sales meeting. They can kind of see what we're all about, who the people are. Uh, they can look at Patrick over there grinning. Hey, Patrick.
Hey there.
Okay. So, so invite them to one of our sales meetings. We don't cover anything that everybody else can't know about. So invite them to one of the Zoom meetings, and we'll put them on the invite list. Also, you can offer them a free continuing education class. I'm a CE instructor, and we're coming into the CE renewal season. So if you're talking with somebody and they happen to be an agent and they happen to be interested in maybe taking a look at what Xeris has to offer, say, well, how about a free CE? And then you can let me know, and I'll put their name on a free CE certificate, and then they're welcome to attend any continuing education class that I teach. So that's something that's available for agent recruitment. And other than that, we have the best financial arrangement of any company out there. I'll put our financial contract up against anybody, because nobody else is going to do things like pay your E&O insurance. Nobody else is going to loan you lock boxes. Nobody else is going to print your first 500 cards for free. And just on and on and on. We've got all the perks that you need to be a successful real estate agent. So that's all available to the Xeris agents. But to get the word out, it's word of mouth. We don't have a lot of advertising budget to go into. So it's word of mouth. So anybody that you think might be interested in talking to me about being a Xeris agent, or talking with Rhonda about being a Xeris agent, we've got a good story to tell. All right. Any questions on agent recruitment? Well, all righty. Here we go. Here's the continuing education that's coming up. Now I've got an email distribution list of about 4,300, something like that, and that covers the whole market area for our MLS. So, and I send out an email announcing the classes that are coming up from time to time. So, coming up this month on January the 20th is going to be Code of Ethics. Now, Code of Ethics is kind of like a twofer, and they're not related. You satisfy two requirements, but the two are not related. When it comes to the Real Estate Commission, you get 3 hours of continuing education credit. Okay, it's going to be like an elective. But when it comes to the National Association of Realtors, they have a requirement that every 3 years you have to conduct an ethics training class. And this will qualify to satisfy that requirement with the National Association of Realtors. So the two aren't related. So don't call the real estate commission and say, uh, did you get my ethics training type thing? Because they're going to laugh at you and say, you're talking to the wrong folks. But if you call them and say, did I get my 3 hours of continuing education credit? Then they can answer that question. Okay. So that's the code of ethics. All right. The next one, which is a very important one, is a 3 hour CE for measuring the square footage of a house. And we do that in the 3 hours, and it's what's called the ANSI Light, American National Scientific Standards Institute. And I teach it in a form that it's just like what the appraisers have to do whenever they measure the square footage of a house. This is the ANSI, it's what they have to use, what's presented in that standard. And what I've done is kind of made it simpler and presented it in a way that an average real estate agent can measure the square footage with good certainty that they're going to be pretty accurate. It won't be as accurate as an appraiser measured, but you'll be pretty close, and that way you can put it in as realtor measured, and you can be pretty sure that that's going to be the square footage or close to it. On the 27th of January, I'm teaching the new construction class. Now, this is the one I was talking about. If you want to be a sitter or you want to know about new construction, and this is something you really need to know about, because if you're used to just presenting the little 5-page offer on a existing home contract, then what you're going to do is you're going to present that to a builder, and he's going to give you back a counter offer. And that counter offer is going to be up to 67 pages long. It's going to have everything that the law requires. You have to have a warranty. That's the BQSS section that I was talking about earlier. You have to have all these addendums to it, from everything to what the extras are that are available, what are the upgrades, what do you do when it comes to mitigating radon gas, all these kinds of things that you need to know in new construction. So I encourage you to take this new construction class, and I'm going to be offering these 5 classes every month. In other words, I will be teaching both risk management classes. I've already taught those this month. And then the code of ethics, the measuring square footage, and new construction. I'm going to be offering those every month. So pick a month out and take these 3 right here in addition to whatever's new, whatever ethics, whatever training that you need that's required by the Real Estate Commission, and that will get your CEs out of the way. You don't want to wait till the last minute, because things get kind of sold out at that point. It's like trying to go to a play, popular play, toward the end of the renewal period, and it's all sold out. You're not going to be able to get in and get a seat. So get all of your CEs out of the way.
Walt,
Yes, ma'am.
did you mention the new location for classes?
Yeah. Okay. I used to teach in the, Joan, thanks for mentioning that. I used to teach in the office. That was one of the reasons that we moved, was because we didn't need all that space in that old office. We had about 5 offices we weren't using, and I had made arrangements with somebody else to teach in Huntsville rather than in Madison, the CE classes. So that's when we decided, well, we can downsize the Madison office. So that's exactly what we did. And the new CE classes are if you close with Mike Brodowski, it's in his building. Mike Brodowski is in the top portion of the building, And then the Bank 47 is in the bottom portion of that same building. And it's right across the street. I shouldn't say right across. It's juxtaposed right close to the train depot downtown on Church Street. So if you see the let's say you get off the interstate and you weave around and you get on Church Street, yeah, and you see the depot, the train depot on your right, across the street, you can see the big blue sign for Bank 47. And then also in the same building is Mike Brodowski for those of you that have closed there. So any questions on that? Okay. It's not that hard to find. Let me show you the logo, which is on the outside of the, can y'all see this?
Where?
Okay, my director is sitting over here saying, go up a little bit. But this is the logo that you're looking for, that blue 47, kind of a strange 47, and then it has Bank 47 down below it. Okay. All righty. Also, R has some nice classes. They have CE classes, and they also have some just regular training classes. Like I was looking this morning on one for commercial investments. They have it's a part of the CCIM certification, and I was looking into that, and that's one I might take. It costs a little bit, but it's just good information for you to be a knowledgeable real estate agent. So look on the HAR site, and you'll get all the information when they are, how to register for them, if there's a cost, all that kind of information. So make sure that you go to the HAR website and look at what they've got available because they do have some good ones. Okay, this is for Rhonda and Joan because I try to stay out of their paperwork problems, issues, whatever you want to call it. And let me tell you, if you don't turn in your paperwork on time or you don't turn it in complete, Joan and Rhonda will hunt you down like a bulldog, and you won't get your closing check. You won't get your check for your commission until the paperwork is correct. And what I'm going to do is in just a little bit, I'm going to go through that again. I've done it several times, but there's always agents that bring in something incomplete, and then we got to send them back and say, okay, well, you got to go find this. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time going through the required paperwork list in just a little bit. Earnest money. You've heard me use the term kryptonite before. Earnest money is one of those things that the real estate commission, they don't have a sense of humor when it comes to how you handle earnest money. So get the earnest money check. Don't take cash. The earnest money check or the whatever, however they want to pay it. It could be a check, a money order but it has to come from their funds. But get that to us as soon as you possibly can once you have a contract. Also, we need to kind of plan on the resources for closings and for closing dates and things like that. So always keep us updated. If a closing date changes, let us know because that's the only way that we can keep up with when we need to be available for you to come back from a closing to write your check or any changes that occur in your listing or your contract or whatever you're doing. Communicate all those things that can affect the closing date to myself or Rhonda or Joan, any of those. When it comes to .loop, I'm a babe in the woods when it comes to .loop.
Oh, yeah.
I don't claim
I'm
to
trying not to
be
get too dirty.
a .loop guru, and I don't want to be. All I want to know is how to use it. But in terms of how to tell you to use it,
Now, see,
I
Hannah,
would
pull up.
get
All right.
somebody talking. Okay. All right. Rhonda is our resource for training you on how to use .loop. What resources you have available to you. We have some of our forms in there, or specific to Xeris forms in there. And so with that, that's my introduction into Miss Rhonda. Have you got anything you want to say about the Huntsville office?
Well, we're in the process of expanding it. So in the main room where my desk is, we do have a desk area for an agent. And we do have a table if they bring their laptop. And then through the next door, there's two desks already set up. If you have your laptop, you can just bring in there. And the other part of that one, I'm in the process, it's cleaned out. I'm in the process of putting a table in case we want to meet. I do have signs there. We have some signs and we have lock boxes also. And like you said, the agents, if they want a one-on-one for .loop or just going over some forms, they can call me. I can meet them even on weekends.
Okay. And Rhonda is she's very good at teaching you how to use the forms and how to use .loop. And so any of that kind of stuff, Rhonda is your go-to person. Now, let me kind of give you the long term of what we're going to be doing with the Xeris offices. We downsized the Madison office. Okay, we pretty well saturated, I think, the agents in the Madison area that might affiliate with us. But Huntsville is virgin territory. Uh, the long-term goal is for us to find a facility in Huntsville that's on the ground floor that has enough space that I can teach and also keep an office presence there. Now, what we're looking for is something that needs to have like about 2,000 square feet uh, around that area, where we've got office space and then an open area for me to do teaching, continuing education, and then we can have meetings there as well, office meetings. And we're looking to either buy or lease that new Huntsville office. So we're on the hunt for something that we can expand into in the Huntsville office, because the Huntsville office is where most of the agents will be affiliated with. Madison, we pretty well saturated it. Long term, with the presence of the Eli Lilly plant that's going to be built out in the Greenbrier area, I'm looking at putting an office in Decatur, because nobody's going to be working for that plant or that facility is going to want to live in Huntsville because of the traffic on 565 coming into the office in the morning and also going home in the afternoon. So they're going to be looking for the corridor that's over in the north of Decatur and then west of County Line Road, where they want to live. So that's going to be the hot area. And then also some will kind of spill over into when the housing starts getting short there, they're going to spill over into Decatur and start looking in that area. So if you know of anybody over in the uh, Decatur area, I'm looking for a broker that's interested in being a qualifying broker, and we'll find a small office over there to begin with. So let me know if you know of anybody over in that area that might be interested in that. Okay. Any questions on the long-term view of our view for the Xeris offices in Huntsville, Madison, and Decatur? All right. Moving right along.
Hey,
This is
Walt,
that. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to also ask the agents when they share the documents with me, instead of emailing each document, they can go in .loop, make me admin, click the whole file box, and share it one time.
Okay, that's good information. Yeah, right. Like I say, Rhonda's our .loop guru. So, okay, this is the paperwork, and it seems like this is kind of the format right here. everybody is familiar with it, I'm sure, but your name goes up there, the MLS number goes there, the address, your client's name, it's either the seller or a buyer, and then the listing price of that particular piece of property. Anything? Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely.
Oh, it's a dog barking. Okay. Yeah, we have. Oh, by the way, we just adopted a new rescue. So I got about 2 hours of sleep last night, along with Joan. So if we were kind of act like we're zombies walking around, you'll know why. Because we just took him home from the spay neuter clinic yesterday afternoon, and so trying to assimilate a new rescue who's not familiar with the entire layout of our property, along with a new dog, along with having just being spayed or neutered, trying to get them home and settled was quite an experience. It's the first time I've done that. I've always adopted them from an agency. This first time I picked them up from surgery and brought them home. So it was a new experience, and it's a good one though. Our new rescue is named Georgia. It's spelled Jorja. I didn't name her, but that's what the official name is. All right, back to what we're here for. When you have a listing, now this is primarily for a residential listing. You want to have RECAD. Okay, everybody knows the importance of RECAD. Okay, that's a required list. So that's why there's a check out there saying that is going to be applied for every listing, or if you're representing them as a buyer on every one of those type situations. Okay, ADOP. This is a new thing that's kind of come from the result of a lawsuit that the National Association of Realtors lost a couple of years ago. So, and the upshot of what they lost in that was you can't put what you're going to be paying a listing can't put in the MLS what commission they're offering to a buyer's agency. So for example, this is our office policy specifically for Xeris. Or that's what this is agency disclosure office policy. Okay, this is the policy of how we pay our agents here. Okay. If it's your listing, here is your exclusive right to sell. This is it's just the standard form. It's changed quite a bit over time, but I think it's about to settle down. That's all the forms are. So we have to have this when you bring in a listing. All right. Also, when you make it active, what you want to print out in the MLS, you want to print out a copy of that listing and bring that in that shows it's active. In other words, that has all of the information in it and those kinds of things, so that somebody calls the office about a particular listing and they just want to know like what the square footage is or what the price is or how many bedrooms it has or anything like that. We have all that available in the office. Now, normally when somebody calls in, we'll send them off to the listing agent. And we don't, if somebody calls on a listing, we don't say, okay, well, we'll get an agent in touch with you. We're going to try to give that back to the listing agent to represent the buyer so that you can get both sides of the transaction. Most companies don't do that. When somebody calls on the listing, even though it might have an agent's name at the very top on the name writer, they will say, okay, we'll have an agent get in touch with you with the information on the listing, and they'll give it to another agent in the office somewhere. We try to give it back to the listing agent so they can get both sides of the deal. Okay, so that's the reason for having a copy of the MLS listing as it is presented in the MLS. As with everything, you have to have an estimated closing statement. All right. That's an easy thing to do because if you go to the .loop or to the available documents in the MLS, then they've got one that will autofill. In other words, all you have to do is fill out correctly the header of it. where it talks about the name of the buyers, where the address, the zip code, the uh, tax district. You're gonna fill all that out with the price, the what kind of financing you're talking about getting, all that kind of stuff. So it makes it real easy for you. If you just do it everything correctly in the heading up there, then it's going to through a autofill type situation make all the calculations for you for a typical uh, disclosure, for a typical estimated closing disclosure. And that's thanks to Robert Simon. I always like to give him credit because he was the one that developed that Excel spreadsheet and all the calculations with it a long time ago. So I always try to give him a pat on the back. So, okay. If the house is built before 1978, you always have to have lead-based paint disclosure. Now that's what that is. It basically says don't eat the paint. Because I can tell you that for a disclosure, any house that was built before 1978, there's lead-based paint in that house without a doubt. Okay, so that's when you have a listing, these are the required things right here. And then this is if it was built before 1978, the law requires that you fill that out as well. Any questions on that? Bring all that in to either the Huntsville office or the Madison office. You can bring it into either one, or do it through .loop, whatever you're comfortable with. All right. Now we'll go down to the sales forms. Okay, this is when you have a contract. Okay, you want to put the sales price right there. You should have an estimated closing date over here, which would be a part of the contract. And then once again, if you don't already have it on this, let's say you weren't the listing agent, then you want to have the recad filled out. You want to have our disclosure on the office policy of how our agents get paid. You want to have an exclusive buyer agency agreement. Okay. Now, here's where things might change a little bit. If you are, let's say that you're the listing agent and somebody has contacted you and you're going to be representing them in a sales, in an offer type environment, then you can be one of two things. You can either be an exclusive buyer agency, and you can also be where is it? There it is. Limited consensual dual agent. What that means is you're representing both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction with the written permission of the buyer and the seller. So that you can check. Get my little thingy do up there. You can check the limited consensual dual agent and the exclusive buyer agent. Okay. If you don't want to be an agent, and in other words, there's risk involved in being an agent because you got fiduciary duties and all kinds of things. You can be what's called a transaction broker. So this won't apply, nor that won't apply. But so you can be a transaction broker. In that situation, they're just to be able to. You're just there to make sure the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed. But you can't give them your advice or your opinion. The minute you do that, you step into the category of being their agent. So be careful when you're a transaction broker. I also strongly suggest that when you're representing a buyer, there's a general information for buyer's form. What that is, it goes through every major material issue that might be incurred in purchasing a house. It will cover all kinds of things. Like, did you realize that there might have been a homeowners association in here that's not there anymore? Did you realize that you might have radon gas here? There's 27 questions that include things like there might be a sexual predator in the neighborhood. So somebody moving in with some young children, that's something they're going to want to know. So this tells them how to identify if there is a sexual predator in that subdivision. So there's like I say, there's 27 questions. Every one of them are material to the purchase of the house. once you go through that with them, then have them initial it and sign down at the bottom that you explained everything in there or answered any questions that they might have had. And then what that does, that gives you immunity in the future for anything that goes wrong. Let's say that, for example, there's radon gas in the house. Okay. You explain to them what radon gas is, how it's a health hazard, and all of that. And then they've said, okay, you've explained that to me. So somewhere down the road, let's say that they discover there really is radon gas in the house and people are being harmed physically by it, then you're going to be pulled into a lawsuit. And if you don't have something that gives you indemnity from that radon gas situation that you were supposed to have mentioned to them, then you're going to be in a world of hurt when it comes to that grand jury or that jury looking at you saying, yeah, you should have told them about that back then and made sure that they understood what it was. So that's the reason for this. This is a CYA document right here, this General Information for Purchasers form. Okay, along with everything we've talked about so far, of course, you have to have the contract and any addendums to it. Also, the inspection addendum. Now, you don't want to let any deal go through without you at least explaining to them why they want to have a home inspection. Because once you do, if they decide they don't want to have a home inspection, then you want to jump down to here and make sure that they sign what's called a waiver of property inspection. That means that they don't want to have it, and you explain to them the benefits of having a home inspection, and they have signed this form holding you harmless from anything that goes wrong in the future. So one of these two things will keep you out of trouble. This one up here, the general information for purchasers, and then down here, the waiver of property inspection if they don't want to have a home inspection. Okay, the next thing, as usual, you always have to have an estimated closing statement for the sales form. In other words, for the whatever the sales price is, this estimated closing statement right here has to reflect based on that sales price right there. All right. Then you have to have a contract, you have to have what's called a binding agreement signature. That can be assigned normally by the listing agent, and it's on page number 4 of the contract. To have a valid contract, you have to have 3 things in place. You have to have an offer, a written offer. You have to have a written acceptance. Then that doesn't fulfill it right there. If you don't have a binding agreement signed, then that's the third element of having a legal contract. And that binding agreement says that everybody that's a party to this contract has a copy of everything that they signed. So that's what that's all about. If you're the listing agent, okay, then you need to change it in the MLS from active to either contingent or pending, either contingent or pending. If it's contingent, that means there's some contingency in there that could cancel the contract. If it's pending, that means that all the things that might affect the contract have been taken care of, like the home inspection, things like that. So this is where you said, okay, everybody is in agreement and has everything they've signed, and the MLS change notice reflects that we now have a legal contract, and we changed that in the MLS. Earnest money, once again, I can't stress enough. The Real Estate Commission has certain rules about it. I think you have to have it there within about, I think it says as soon as possible. And then the MLS has a rule of you have to have it somewhere between 3 and 7 days. I'm not sure exactly which date that they've changed it to, but okay. So those are the forms that when you have a sales contract that we need. If you have any referral, and this is a popular thing too, is let's say that somebody gave you this lead that turned into a contract, and it was from an agent from another part of the state or another here locally, and let's say that you've agreed to pay them a 25% referral fee. then I will have signed earlier a referral form that both the qualifying broker for their company and myself as the qualifying broker for this company have said, we agree to that. So that's what the referral form is, and it's available to you on .loop, or we have it here in the office as a form that you can fill out. Okay, this is the big one right here. This is where we've got to have everything that's checked in there, or we won't accept the paperwork. Now that's another thing is we won't. You can bring in everything, and let's say you don't have the binding agreement signature, or you don't have the inspection addendum, or you don't have an ADOP or something like that, or anything that's checked on here that's missing. We're not going to hold the paperwork for you. We're going to tell you to take it back, and once you've got it all complete, bring it back to us complete. The reason for that is if we hold on to it and we forget that there's paperwork coming in for that, and we just kind of set it aside or put it in a pending file or something like that, and it's missing some paperwork, then you're going to forget about it. We're going to forget about it. And when the real estate commission comes in and audits us and they say, oh, by the way, where is this required paperwork that's not here? We're going to be in trouble. We don't want to do that. So that's why if you come in and say, oh, I forgot that, hold this and I'll bring it back tomorrow, we're not going to do that. And that's the reason for it. Okay, the closing form. This is when you come back from closing, and this is when you get this is your payday. This is when you come back with a signed settlement statement. Okay, this is from the attorney. He fills all that out, and everybody signs everything. And then, so you want to bring that back, and it's good to have. It's not really required, but it's good to have a blue ink copy that shows that it was an original. Okay. You also have to have the final inspection. Now, what that means is what I normally do is when I do the final inspection on a contract, I ask them to meet me at the house about an hour or two before closing. You don't want to do it any earlier, like a day before or sometime earlier in the week, because there's a lot of things that can happen in that house between then and closing. And when you sign the final inspection agreement right here, you're saying that I saw the house, I've, I've looked at it, and I'm going to accept it as is. What I saw is what I'm buying. Okay. And once again, if you end up having a referral or anything like that, then we have to have the paperwork on that so that when we do all the calculations, we know that there's a referral that we need to write a 25% commission referral to another brokerage. If that's not checked, we're not going to do it. And then once the checks are written, we can't go back and change that, unfortunately. So make sure that if it's a referral that we have the proper paperwork. And last but not least, the check from the attorney. So those are the forms that we have to have when you come back from a closing. All right. Any questions on any of this? I've spent a lot of time on it because it seems like a lot of agents, especially if you don't do a lot of business. Let's say you do one deal a year or something like that, and you go down through here and you don't realize that we need the binding agreement date signed, and some other required paperwork. So
also, if it's your listing, you have to mark it closed.
Yeah, exactly. Go back and in the MLS, change it from pending or contingent or whatever to closed. And it's going to ask you for certain closing information on there. So that's you need to do that. Okay. Ron, have I missed anything?
Not that I can think of, except when you were explaining about the automated closing statement.
Yeah.
If they wanted to put that into the .loop, they need to save it as a PDF form because .loop only takes PDF.
See, that's why I don't talk about .loop and try to train you on it because Rhonda knows everything about .loop. All righty. Isn't that right, Rhonda?
Yes, if I don't,
Okay.
find out.
All righty. And we're here to help you. In other words, we're going to do everything we can to make you as a successful real estate agent. So some of the things that we offer that other agencies don't offer is I'll go out and take your photographs for you for your listing. I'm also a drone pilot. I'm licensed to fly a drone, so I can take aerial photographies of photographs or a video of your listing. Now, we need to be careful in subdivisions because if I take the drone shot or the video of other properties in that subdivision, for example, then I'm going to have the written permission for that to be published. So I can only take your listing property that's in the drone shots. If it's, let's say you've got 30 acres with a house on it, then I can fly that drone up as far as I want to and take a picture of the whole property. You can take that photograph and mark off the what you feel like is the property line. So you can do all kind of things with the drone photographs. Okay. Also, when it comes to measuring the square footage of a house, of course, your gold standard is an appraisal. If you can get an appraisal of when the people bought the house, it has to be the owners of the property. If they can find their appraisal, and you look at the very back of that appraisal, you'll find the square footage that the appraiser measured. So what I always do is when I'm going out on a listing, I ask them, "Do you have your appraisal from where you purchased the house?" Most of them will say, "Well, no, I really don't know. That was 20 years ago." Then you can say, "Well, where do you keep the deed? Where do you keep your important papers from that closing?" Ah, I remember now. All right. So, and if everything else fails, and you want me to go out and measure the square footage, I'm what's called a certified home measuring specialist. So I'll be happy to do that for you for free. I charge anybody except Xeris agents to go out and do that. So when it comes to the photography, I'll do that for you free. When it comes to measuring the square footage, which you can enter as appraiser / certified measurer as the source for it, which is very accurate, then let me know. Also, if you need any help with internet marketing, Cindy, she's the one that does all of our website maintenance and everything we do online as a company. Cindy does that. She takes care of the Xeris family on Facebook.
Yeah.
Everything that we do on the internet, Cindy is responsible for. So Cindy is a wonderful resource for you. Like if you want to set up a Facebook marketing program, she can help you do that. Now, if it's more than just a little bit, if it's more than complicated, I mean, it's more complicated than just a here's what you do and you can do it. If it's more like let's strategize how we're going to do it and what market do you want to go for and all that kind of stuff, Cindy will probably want to charge you something. But just the vanilla flavored marketing, internet marketing advice, she's there to help you with that. Okay. And of course, we got all the signs up here, all the name writers and things like that that you can put on it. So,
Walt,
yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry. I've been messing with this baby this morning. He don't feel good today. So I can't remember. Did I mention Agent of the Month?
Not yet.
Wow. Look at there, look at there.
So I'm like, okay, Agent of the Month is Donnie Stewart. She has been working very, very hard in real estate lately. And it has not all been easy for her. Did you hear me? Am I muted?
Yeah. Are you,
Did you say Donnie Stewart?
Yes, Donnie Stewart.
yeah, Donnie. Yeah. Hey, Donnie. Congratulations. You've been through a bunch that one house that you've been trying to sell, and it takes a dedicated real estate agent to go through what you've been through. So, congratulations, Donnie. All righty. Anything else that you want covered?
Hmm.
All right. Well, this meeting is being recorded and it's going to be in the archive. So anybody, if somebody says, "God, I'm not familiar with the paperwork," you can tell them to go back to the January 2026 sales meeting, and it'll be explained in there exactly what I just went through. So if there's no questions, I want to thank everybody for coming. Hopefully this will spread and we'll get some other people seeing the benefit of this Zoom environment that we're in. But if they say, God, I didn't mean to miss that meeting, they really didn't miss it. They can go into the archives and pull it up and see everything that we covered today. So anybody have anything they want to share?
And a big thank you to Julie Webb for working on the Zoom meetings.
She is, I couldn't, I'm not a techie person. I'm not I wouldn't even claim to know how to run a Zoom meeting. And we're fortunate to have Julie. She's a new agent, but she came from a large company where she handled all of the internet presence, Zoom meetings, lead generations, all that kind of stuff. She knows the internet in and out. So she has been a wonderful addition, and so let's give Julie a big hand. Thank you. All right. If there's nothing else, we're going to close the meeting and good luck out there and good selling.
Okay. Thank you.